Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Green and I'm a couples counselor. Welcome to my channel, Evolving in Love. Today we're continuing our journey through my new book, The Butterfly Blueprint. Revitalize your relationship and keep your heart fluttering forever. Today we're exploring chapter 7 called Generosity. These videos build on one another, so if you haven't yet, I recommend watching the first 6 chapters before diving in here today. Now, many people think generosity is about grand gestures or making big sacrifices. But real generosity in a relationship is an attitude, along with the actions that follow. It's about giving freely of your time, attention, patience, understanding, and kindness without expecting anything in return. Think of it like feeding your pet every day. It may not seem like a big deal, but you're giving life by doing it, even when you're tired or not in the mood. Relationships need that same level of care and attention because just like a pet, they're growing, living connections. Remember our butterfly metaphor just here? Well, when you make small efforts to show generosity, you're nurturing the body of the butterfly or the overlapping circle area in the Venn diagram. You're nurturing the connection between you that you both rely on. Whether it's a warm hug, a small compliment, or simply saying, "I'm glad you're here." These little acts of generosity build up in your relationship, filling what I call the emotional bank account. Now, I often hear partners say, "It doesn't matter what I do or how hard I try. My partner will never be happy. So what's the point? Why bother?" The problem with this approach is if you don't feed the connection between you, it will wither and die. The truth is, each partner has to continue making efforts, even when it feels tough. Generosity isn't about an immediate reward, but rather those small investments of goodwill that build up over time. When conflicts or challenges arise, you'll have a reserve of trust to draw from, like a buffer or a shock absorber that helps you navigate those rough moments. But just like a bank account, if you're only withdrawing and never depositing, you'll end up in the red, with frustration and resentment taking over. Take Joel and Daphne, for example. They've been married for a few years, and lately their small disagreements about chores or weekend plans have escalated quickly. Joel snapped when Daphne criticized how he handled a family conversation, and she fired back that he never listens. Without that emotional buffer, their argument quickly spiraled. But generosity isn't just about your own efforts. It's about recognizing your partners too. For instance, take Emma and Jack. Emma often redoes the cleaning after Jack because it's not done her way. Instead of being grateful that Jack took the time to clean, she focuses on what wasn't perfect. Being generous in this moment means seeing the care behind Jack's action and letting go of those rigid expectations. The same goes for Tom and Lisa. Tom plans little surprises for Lisa, but they don't always hit the mark. Rather than being disappointed, Lisa could choose to see Tom's thoughtfulness and the fact that he's trying to show his love, even if it's not exactly how she imagined. Now let's talk about the giving-receiving duality dilemma that often blocks generosity in relationships. This happens when couples fall into scorekeeping. For example, Paul keeps track of what he gives to Marcus, expecting something in return. Instead of giving freely, Paul's generosity becomes conditional and has strings attached. Then there's Hank, who helps Zoe in a way that makes her feel incapable, turning his generosity into subtle control and a sense of superiority. Hidden motives like seeking praise, avoiding conflict, making someone feel indebted, or maintaining dependency all block the flow of genuine generosity. These underlying intentions turn potential generosity into something transactional and self-serving, preventing real connection in the relationship. When a partner believes they're getting the short end of the stick, they may feel justified in taking rather than receiving. When apologies, affirmations, or even sex are demanded, like with Lena and Oscar, Lena constantly pushes for more of Oscar's time, even when he says he's doing the best to balance work and home life. She feels entitled and tries to take more than what Oscar is offering. For many, receiving the free gift of true generosity can feel vulnerable. Take Sue, for instance. Every time Steve encouraged her to go out with friends or take some time for herself, Sue felt guilty, as if she didn't deserve to be put first. Interestingly, she had no problem encouraging Steve to go to the gym regularly while she stayed home with the kids. Allowing yourself to take in loving care with an open heart, without guilt or shame, is a form of generosity too. It strengthens your connection and lets love flow freely. Maintaining the flow of generosity in your couple isn't easy, which is why it's essential to follow 3 key practices. First, nurture your relationship by making daily efforts, no matter how you feel. This is like the feed the pet every day concept discussed earlier. Consistency is key to keeping your connection strong. A great way to make sure you give your partner the right type of food is by understanding their love language, a concept developed by Dr. Gary Chapman. The 5 love languages, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch, each fulfill different emotional needs. For example, if your partner's love language is quality time, but you keep showering them with little gifts, you might feel like you're being generous, but it won't have the same effect. Knowing their love language helps you feed the pet in ways that truly make them feel loved and understood. The second key practice is being open about what makes you happy. And that's actually an act of generosity too. It's easy to confuse generosity with people-pleasing, but they're not the same. Take Sanvi and Amir, for example. Sanvi always said yes to whatever Amir asked, whether it was picking up his dry cleaning or canceling her own plans to go to his work event, because she didn't want to disappoint him. On the surface, it looked like she was being generous, but in reality, she was acting out of a fear of conflict and fear of rejection. Over-giving like this can lead to resentment and imbalances in the relationship. That's why it's so important to clearly express what you need in a relationship. While it's easy to focus on what you don't want or what you don't like, actually telling your partner what you do want or what you do like might be more challenging, but it gives them the chance to successfully meet your needs. If you're always dropping hints or expecting them to just get it, you're setting the stage for misunderstandings and disappointment. Many people think, if they really loved me, they'd know what to do. But the truth is, no one is a mind reader. Some people also worry that if they say what they really want, their partner might only do it out of a sense of obligation, which can make it feel forced or less meaningful. Or they worry it won't last, that their partner won't keep up the effort. Being honest about your desires does take trust, but it also opens the door to a deeper connection where your partner can better understand and meet your needs. I often hear people say, I don't know, when I ask them directly what they do want in couples counseling sessions. For many, it's a question they've never really considered before and maybe never been asked. Taking the time to reflect on and explore your desires and learning to express them clearly is essential to building an interdependent relationship. The third practice is cultivating an attitude of gratitude. Expressing thanks for the small things your partner does can have a big impact. For instance, Omar noticed that Emily always made sure he had his favorite coffee beans, even though she had a pretty busy schedule herself. Instead of just thinking how nice that was, he said, "Thank you for always making sure I have my favorite coffee." That simple acknowledgement added to their emotional bank account and made it easier for both of them to stay generous with each other, even during stressful times. Consistently expressing gratitude helps reinforce positive behaviors, creating a cycle of care and attentiveness that strengthens one's interdependent relationship. Okay, that wraps up our discussion on generosity. Please don't forget to like, comment, share this video if you found it helpful. Thanks again for being here, and I'm really hoping you're going to join me again next time for Chapter 8 called Differentiation. I can't wait to share it with you. See you soon.